Most ranchers make their money by raising cattle and selling them commercially for food. Well, I heard about a rancher in Glendive, Montana who was making money by digging up dinosaurs. I had to go check this out. So join me as we talk to the bishes, find out how they actually make money with dinosaurs, and join them on a trip out on their ranch to see if we can find the big one. This is Justin and Shanna.
Rhymes with banana.
Rhymes with
banana.
Banana?
Yeah.
Okay. And they're dinosaur diggers. We're just sitting here having coffee. Actually, they're ranchers who support their habit with dinosaurs, right?
Yes.
Yes. Mm-hmm. And you were telling me how long you've been doing this, Shanna?
We started about 20 years ago. Justin's mom was doing the guiding and I was doing the business side of things. Yeah.
So you guide people to dig up dinosaurs?
Yes. Yeah. Mostly we were hunting here. There's not all that many, or there's a lot of scattered dinosaur bones here. And so it's, yeah, most of what we're doing, help from the dog.
Yeah.
Mostly what we're doing is walking around looking for fossils.
Okay.
And so most of what is there is just pieces and people can take them home with them.
Is that the only way that you make money with the dinosaurs, or do you sell some bones, or?
No, we get to sell some bones too once in a while when we find skeletal sites or just meat eater things, some of the T-Rex pieces, things like that. Then we'll sell those on the side for an extra income.
Over the last couple of years, there's been a drought, and you had a pretty rough time there with the ranching.
Yep, in 2021, the drought, just doubled and tripled the hay feed prices all the way around us, and so we probably would have had to sell the cattle in 21. Couldn't afford to feed them until we, but we had some dinosaur bones that sold that year, and between that and the fossil hunters, we were able to hang on to the cows, which is a good thing because the cow prices went up as soon as that was done.
And we knew they would too. You knew that once everybody kind of sold half their cows and everything, but it was a really, really rough
hard
time
to
there.
stick through.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. That's always the way it is. It's like you're forced to sell when they're down.
Yeah.
And then, if you could ever know that was coming, you could sell when they're up.
Right.
That doesn't usually work that way, just so you know.
You never know what you have until you've spent the hours digging.
Sure.
It could be something major right underneath the soil, or the surface, or it could be nothing. You don't know.
And you dig with an excavator or what?
No, just
backhoe?
mostly
Shovels?
by hand. Yeah, mostly by hand. A lot of screwdrivers and brushes and knives, paint brushes. Once in a while.
Just like you see in the movies, is that what you're saying?
Right. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So the first thing that Shanna does is take all the clients through this little shop here and show a lot of the dinosaur bones that they've found and a lot of fossils. It helps people to understand kind of what they're looking for and show them that it's possible to find something really cool, especially like this full skeleton that was found on this ranch. I mean, that's what it's all about, right? Finding the big one. As we drive across the eastern Montana landscape on our way to the place where we're going to hunt for dinosaurs, I can't help but be caught up in a little bit of the anticipation. Are we going to find something today that no human has ever laid eyes on?
I wasn't really a rock or a fossil person or a dinosaur person. It didn't, I've been working outside all my life, and I knew I loved being outside, and I liked, I've enjoyed people on a one-on-one basis, or I wanted to be a teacher, originally when I was a kid.
Oh, okay.
And so
kind of fulfilling a dream here, huh?
Yeah. It is. It's, and then the rocks and the fossils become an addiction.
Yeah.
The treasure hunt.
Yep.
This doesn't look so good.
This looks a little bit gumbo-y.
Here, it's a rock crossing,
So it's on rock underneath there?
People that don't like to shop, but they love to secondhand store shop, because secondhand store shopping is exactly. It's a treasure hunt. Regular shopping that's shopping. That's boring.
Did you always find dinosaur bones anyway, and then you decided that's what you wanted to do? Was you thought, hey, I could help people find these, or
People are hungry for adventures and,
Yeah.
and doing real
interesting
things.
adventures?
Yeah. And then of course the dinosaur thing is just, you know, has really gotten busy. I mean, every time
More
there's a new-
interest.
Yeah, you know, a lot of our guests are families. You know, all summer long, it's a lot of families with, you know, one or two of the kids that are interested in dinosaurs, and so they come to do some fossil hunting.
Come out as a family.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's been 50 minutes driving to the backside.
Yeah, and is it better for finding, or is it just better because it hasn't been picked over at all?
Yeah, hopefully it'll be better because it hasn't been hunted, but you don't know that either. Sometimes some of our best finds will be, you know, right where we've hunted 5 times that year. You know, just all of a sudden there's something there that you've missed.
We're gonna see how good of a driver she is to see if she can get through this creek and the mud bank on the other side here.
See what happens.
Just a little worrisome on that, but I think it's okay. Just
I appreciate they have that recorded now.
yeah.
that was Trinity's fault.
That's
We get
right.
stuck now. Ooh, it's not.
Woo. There you go. See, no problem. That was not even an issue. Well, it depends. If they get stuck out there, we're in trouble. But if they get stuck right here, we should be fine.
Yeah, that's the spot I'm worried about, though. I'm kind of thinking we probably better turn around and go back. We can go back and hunt over here instead.
Okay.
So yeah, let's do that. That was too iffy. We'll come back across. Let's turn around and we'll turn off and go and hunt over there instead.
It's so interesting to see this country. I mean, I've been out here a couple of times near Broadus, and it's kind of this same kind of stuff. It's just this kind of clay. It's really, really hard, packed clay, but then the water washes it away like every time it rains, so which creates like spots where things are exposed, and that's what they're looking for out here. It's just incredible to think that at one point there was dinosaurs walking around right where we're moving cows. Okay, that's a bone.
Yep.
Huh. So how can you tell this is a bone? Why?
So you see all these little holes in there? We call
Yep.
that porosity, and then you can also see the outside of it. But it's mainly because of all the porosity that I'm able to tell.
Gotcha.
Oh,
Show him that one.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So-
there's a bigger chunk.
that is much more clearly seen that
Yes.
it's bone.
Yeah.
And so here's where it would have connected to another bone. It's missing all of the,
Like a joint or something.
yeah, it's definitely a joint. So it's one of the long bones.
Cool.
So
So you gotta watch this stuff up here. See, there's holes in there, back there. And apparently the water runs down here and then drops into this and goes out somewhere else. So you don't want to step on this stuff because it could cave in. And who knows how deep that goes. Look at this rock formation. It looks like a great big dead tree laying here. Okay, well, I can see how she can, when you start getting into this, it's kind of interesting because I found something here. Shauna, she says that
It's Shanna, Trinity. Come on, buddy. I know you're not feeling good, but it's Shanna.
Rhymes with banana.
rhymes with
With banana.
banana.
Rhymes with banana. Remember? Remember that? Okay. I'll go back to my sick self. I apologize.
Shauna, she says that this gets addictive, and I can see why. If you're finding pieces of bone everywhere, you know, it can be, I'm sure it gets fascinating. Like, when are you going to find the big one? You know, that's really the interesting part about it, is the hunt. It's like, what can you find? Because you don't ever know what you could locate.
Here.
What is it?
Here's just bone pieces.
Oh, okay.
There's one right there.
What is this?
That's a cow or buffalo.
Is it?
Yeah.
Because it was in the embedded in the underneath the rock in the white stuff there.
Yeah.
Wow.
We just yesterday, Dallas here found almost a whole skeleton of something.
Really?
And I don't know how it got there because it's a long ways down, and it's not. A lot of times you'll see them, you know, where you can see, well, okay, maybe they died up here, you know, and then they got washed down and they'll get stuck into the side of a butte or something. But this one was like the whole animal laying out there, and it was, I don't know, 6, 8, 10 feet of soil on top of it, and it wasn't in a wash.
Yeah, because
So
I was thinking that's not even rock.
No.
So.
No, they're, buffalo and horse and cow teeth are so cool.
Yeah.
You know, they're really pretty. You know, if they were fossilized, we would just think they were the best find ever.
Oh, absolutely.
You know.
So this was the extent of my fossil finding experience. I wasn't really good at finding fossil material. So I went to find out what everybody else was finding.
It could be the process on a vertebrae. What?
Thompson bone, and then Steven seen that, and then I started going back and I found this.
Okay.
There was only,
And how would you know that that's a bone?
there was just that much. See, there's the line where it's sticking out of the.
Yeah? How would you know it's a bone by looking
Just
at
by the couple days, you know, picking up this, and you know.
that? And you kind of just learn to identify the...
I've picked a lot of arrowheads and stuff, so
Yeah?
you learn, you know, textures.
Huh. Because I would have thought that, I just saw that and just said, oh, there's a rock.
Yeah, that would have been me a few days ago. I think it's ready to.
Oh yeah, it's coming out. Oh, look at that.
Oh, it's like 3-sided.
What the heck?
I bet it's something to do in the foot. Steven will probably know.
I'd agree with that.
Is it like an ankle part of it?
Probably something more like the tarsals or something like that,
Oh,
or
Okay.
something in here. So knuckle or smaller bone.
yeah. Yeah. It's incredible. That is very interesting.
What I find more interesting is that little piece right there. To tell you the truth.
What little piece right there? Oh,
See the little, like,
oh, the little teeth on it? Yeah.
if that's as old as I think it might be, that could be like a find.
Unless it's like, what are you thinking? Unless it's like
If it's
modern?
modern.
Gotcha. What is this thing here, you think?
This is a rib.
That's a rib. Okay.
So this is where it would approximately over here where it'd be attached to the spine,
Okay.
I believe, and then this continues on into the hill
Into
there.
the hill there. And so excavating this takes quite a bit of process then, because you're going to have to dig out
Yeah.
all the way around it, huh?
Yeah.
This is a pretty good find, I think, and there was nothing left to do but wait for Steven to slowly dig out this rib and see how big it is.
Wind up here is about, it's at least 20. I spent the day up here looking for dinosaur bones and rocks, and this country has in eastern Montana, you can see behind me, it's very, very broken, super steep, the rock is on top of the hills, and then it's basically sand and dirt all the way to the bottom, and then the bottoms are sediment because every time it rains, you can see the cuts in the side of the hill. It's just washing more and more of the hill down to the bottom. It's very unique. So he's getting this excavated out. You can see the size of this rib here because it starts right here.
Right over here, comes out this way. This piece right here sticks out and then comes right on over to
Way over to there.
professor.
That would be 56 inches.
56 inches.
Doing the cores.
That's pretty amazing. With a bone like this, you can't just dig around it and pick it up. What you do is you dig down around the bone all the way back to the end, and then they come back here and they'll pour a plaster cast over the bone so that it holds it all together in case of breaks and everything, and they'll flip it over. They'll pry that up, and then they'll take the cast back to wherever they're going with it, and then they can take the bone out after they glue the bone together. So we're going to have to leave it for tonight, and then Stephen will come back tomorrow and cast the rib to get it out of here. So you're doing trips, and then you're selling dinosaur bones as well, to if you can find something that's worth something. Is it mostly? Yeah. Most of them aren't worth anything, right? Or much?
No, just about everything is worth something. I just don't, I'm not selling much for fossils except for the big things.
Okay.
Mostly because the guests are taking home most of what they find. Part of what they're paying for is the hunt and the chance of finding the big thing. So they'll, we have people take leg bones and triceratops horns and things like that home on occasion. A couple of them every season.
So how do they book a trip with you?
I've got a website, an ancient one, so everybody, they just either call or email me.
Ancientone.com?
No. DailyDinosaurDigs.com.
DailyDinosaurDigs.com. I'll put the link down below. Even though I was sick on this trip, so part of my brain wasn't working, the bishes are just people that I met them and I immediately felt as if they were old friends. And that is the kind of people you're dealing with here. This was a part of my trip across Montana. And if you want to see the full trip, make sure you go check out that video right here. It's worth watching. Oh yeah, I'm not sure what kind of sausage this is, but it's pretty good. No. Out on the prairie in the old days,